I'm Namu, and welcome to the video. We're gonna watch a Fallout TV show review. It's by a YouTuber named Synthetic Man. I heard that he has a very negative response to this, and I wanted to check it out. I have watched the show and I have not played any of the game. I am not familiar with the game, so I watched the show without knowing all the like the background, the lore, and the world. So this is in the perspective of someone who really enjoyed the show, despite of not being familiar with the franchise in any kind of a way. That's me as I go into watching this review with you. So let's go check it out. 3, 2, 1, go.
The much anticipated Fallout TV adaptation has finally released. And who am I kidding? We all knew this would be bad. Is anyone surprised? I mean, a single person. I made a video just reacting to the first trailer and knew this would be an absolute butchering.
I thought the show was good, but okay.
And why is that? Well, not just because it's Amazon, and we all know from Rings of Power and various other shows they made that they really don't care about the source material of any series, franchise, no matter how beloved. I mean, if they didn't care about Lord of the Rings, they sure as hell were not going to care about Fallout.
Okay, don't know those shows either myself. And the gory scenes there that were just like shown like casually, I am personally not very good with like blood and gore, and that was like one of the things that kind of like made me scared to continue watching the show, because it is really gory. There's like a lot of like, you know, fights, and they show you like blowing up, and like there's a lot of blood and stuff. And I watched the show despite of that, because the show was so good. The character and the story and the setting was so good. The way that the story was told was really good.
But not just that, we know Bethesda doesn't care about Fallout, at least the lore, the canon, anything that they weren't directly involved with. And honestly, in some cases, even some of their older games, they don't care about continuity in the least bit. Now, for the sake of maintaining relevancy, I'm only going to review the first episode in this video, and I'll review the whole season next week. Every single episode dropped at the same time, so on the one hand, that's totally a good thing, because this will be gone and forgotten in no time flat, because I don't think anyone who's a real fan of Fallout is going to consider this canon, especially because of all of the retcons, inconsistencies. It's obvious the showrunners didn't give a single shit about the Fallout universe, yet Todd Howard said this is canon. I fucking hate Todd Howard at this point. I don't care if he's not directly involved with any of Bethesda's projects and he's basically just a glorified salesman.
At this point, I don't know if I should be watching this review or if it is relevant to me, because I don't know who this guy is either. But I just really enjoy the show, so I just wanna... I hope he just talks about how the show was.
The face of the company, doesn't matter. He's still taking the fucking blame. So before I start spoiling everything in the intro, we might as well just get into the breakdown. So episode 1 begins in 2077, right before the bombs drop.
The episode 1, the way it starts, I don't know why, but I don't know if you guys watched the movie called Parasite. It reminded me of that so much, like the house and like the party up on the hill with the like house one side with the glasses, and it just gave me this like everything is alright but everything's gonna fall apart kind of feeling. So even from the start, it was like, it got me hooked, to be honest.
We see Walton Goggins playing one of the main characters, the Ghoul. Yes, they literally call him the Ghoul when there are thousands of ghouls at minimum in the Fallout universe. He is the Ghoul. But as of right now, he is Cooper Howard, a Marine veteran who is famous for something. I don't think they explain it in this scene, but they imply he played some kind of cowboy character. I don't know if it's for commercials or military propaganda. And now he just does birthday parties for alimony payments. And I find this even more funny because his kid is mixed race. So his black wife divorced him, and now he plays fucking birthday parties. How black pilling is that? And at the risk of...
Okay.
of getting a shit ton of dislikes from normies, just like my review of the first episode of The Last of Us. I find this even more funny because if you know anything about marriage statistics, you would know that white male, black female actually has the lowest divorce rates. So in a way, you could almost say this is anti-propaganda, but I still
We're
think it's
gonna go to like social statistics to prove that this show. Like, are we gonna talk about the show or what?
promoting race mixing as basically
Race mixing? Oh my gosh.
every show on television does. You know, for as woke as
That
video
sounds
games are
weird.
these days,
Who says race mixing? I've never heard anyone say race mixing. Like interracial, in the cultural wedding or marriage or relationship I've heard, but I've never heard that phrase. Maybe it's a common phrase. I've never heard of that. That sounds awkward to hear.
TV and movies blow the gaming industry out of the water. Basically, every streaming show I've tried to watch with my mother has had some form of propaganda in it, and usually multiple types, whether it's race-related, gender-related, LGBT-related, it's usually all of the above. But anyway, getting back to Fallout. The rich guy who's hosting the birthday party calls Walton Goggins a communist because he won't stick his thumb up in reference to the supposed safe distance from a nuclear bomb, implying that Walton Goggins opposes the war with China. Nothing really comes of this. This whole scene is obviously supposed to give you an idea what the retro future culture of 2077 looks like. But if a modern Marxist rewrote history and added diversity everywhere. Now, it's not like in the original Fallout games, all the characters were white, but there's something uncanny about this whole thing. We'll put it at that. I'm not gonna make a huge deal over it. So anyway,
Wait, what's uncanny? The fact that the girl's half white and half black? Like, what's uncanny?
shortly after the first nuke drops on LA, the rich guy punches his black friend, not letting him in their Fallout shelter, and Walton Goggins rides off on a horse.
I actually didn't pick up on the fact that that was a black guy that the homeowner punched. I figured that he is just wanting only his family to go into that space that he prepared for in case of the nuclear bomb. I don't think he was gonna let anybody in, really.
Horse with his daughter on the back, as if you could fucking outrun a nuke. They literally just...
That was the only thing that he had. I remember when that happened, I was just like, just go, run, 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 run. I was like, actually, I get really like into stuff when I watch them. I think that's also why I don't do very well with gore and stuff, because it feels like I have a hard time detaching sometimes. But yeah, I remember I was like verbally like saying like run, 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 run. So I mean, he had to do something. Can it increase like 1% chance? Like it could. Like, would you want that 1%? Why not? You know.
Just told us in the previous scene the safe distance is the size of a thumb. I think that
you're gonna still try. All these people are freaking out trying.
It might be a little bit bigger than that.
Is that why he doesn't like the show? Is that why the show is Humiliation? Because the characters in the story wants to survive and they have that desire and they panic and they're scared and they're reacting?
I know they did this to have a really dramatic scene, but it just comes across incredibly idiotic. Especially since 3 more nukes drop, one which is within a mile of the house. Whatever. So anyway, moving on, we fast forward to the present, and I want to point out this...
I don't know, people like in like even like natural disaster, most people their instinct is to like try to run or they scream. Like, why do you scream for help then? You know? If you're gonna die anyway, why do people scream help when there's like absolutely no one? Everyone around you are like in the same shoes and they do it. It's just what people do and they captured it. I don't think that makes it seem less real or idiotic. I think they're just capturing that moment of panic and people are reacting in different ways. Some people try to hide, some people try to run. I'm sure some people just like froze there because they're just in shock.
This takes place after all of the games. And more importantly, 15 years after Fallout New Vegas.
This setting is just so cool to me. Like I didn't know that it's gonna be about like a nuclear war and like how the world is afterwards, how people still try to manage to survive. It's just the whole setting coming from a place where I didn't know anything about the franchise. It was so cool and scary, and it made me think about like what would I do if I was in that situation. It just seems so scary because everyone's just like no one trusts each other. Everyone's just like killing each other. I think I wouldn't have survived for long, to be honest. But kudos to people who, made it through and they're still going.
You're gonna want to remember that, considering this takes place on the West Coast. So now we meet our true protagonist, Lucy, a resident of Vault 33, which I guess was another control vault. Either that or it's some kind of multi-vault
It feels weird watching this random game. as I as I listen to Fallout stuff, I wish it's footages of the show. Although I'm sure he's trying to just cover episode 1, so he doesn't want to show too much spoiler. But I wish it's like something relevant to what this is about. Even if it's like game footage of Fallout or something, not this.
experiment. As they fail to adequately explain in the show, Vault 31, 32, and 33 are all directly connected to each other. And so Lucy is applying for an arranged marriage with one of the other vaults. They show off all of her various skills. And of course, she just so happens to be good at basically everything. Definitely not Mary Sue, guys. And of course, she gets approved. We find out her father is the overseer. Her younger brother is this tiny, huge-nosed, cowardly, incompetent beta male. And all.
Okay. I mean, I did notice that he is small, but I wasn't like, oh, he's like big nose beta male. No, it's just like a little guy. It's a little guy. And it's kind of like, I thought it was kind of neat, like how like he kind of contrasts his sister. Like she's obviously like someone who's like obviously kind of like she shines more. Seems like she's more like brave and spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched the show. I'll probably talk about the show as if like you've watched it, but he isn't. He's like when there's like an initial first fight, he hides. Um, he's supposed to be like the coward, whatever, but like in his own way, the show shows how he's brave. And I love that contrast that there are different ways to be brave. Even like later, like it is obvious that this is a smart guy who doesn't show all of him. So like I don't know, I really like the contrast in this sibling as well.
Also, that Lucy fooled around with her.
And the fact that there is a contrast, that made me like it more. There was something more interesting going on between the characters. It wasn't like something was like, oh, he's different, he's smaller, I don't like this show because of this. It was so weird take to me.
Cousin.
Messing around with your cousin, it's all well and good for kids, but
And this is
it's not a
awkward.
sustainable long-term sexual practice, you know?
Who, despite being a tall, kind of more Chad-looking dude, is also a complete coward, worthless pussy.
Exactly. So like uh it goes to show just because you're a big guy doesn't mean you're automatically brave. Sometimes it's like once again the contrast was really cool and interesting. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Get used to hearing that. And so the members of Vault 33 meet up with the members of Vault 32, and we find out her soon-to-be husband is actually a white guy and not ugly. Shocking.
Okay.
But don't worry, they ruin that pretty shortly. At the wedding, Lucy asks her new husband, Monty, what his sperm count is. I think I'm actually starting to like this girl. And
Because
even
she
more
asked that?
based, as soon as they get back to her room, Monty strips naked and
I did think when she asked him the sperm count stuff, she comes across like forthcoming, right? but it also like kind of made her sound more naive because she's like textbook smart. So I don't know. Like that kind of like shows even more how sheltered she is and how she like knows the world a lot, but they're all through like just kind of like just informational. So she kind of deals with it with like she's not shy or like emotional talking about it. It's kind of like factual things. She's just checking off the list, you know.
They just straight up have sex. So I
Actually, when he took his shirt off, or like there was like a shot where it's like it shows his back. I noticed the scars, and before this scene, I was like, oh, like I don't feel good about this. Something's weird. Like, why are the people from the other vault like? Why are they not really smiling? Like, they just like seem like a little off. And then when I saw the scars on his back, I'm like, no, 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 that's not normal. If he's also like someone who lived inside like all sheltered, like why is he all scratched up? Unless they're hurting him in the vault. But even if they are doing that, like why? So I knew something bad was gonna happen.
guess one good thing came out of this show, but of course everything
One good thing came out of the show. And it's that scene. Are you kidding me? There's so much that came out of the show that was really good. Even as someone who doesn't know about the game. Like, I loved all the. I think my favorite thing. There were a lot of good things about this show. The way that they told stories or, like, uncover the truth is so good. But I adored how, like, each character they develop over time in their own way, even though they're, like, going through the same timeline together. There were so many good things about the show besides that one scene. That one scene is actually kind of meaningless
goes to shit
in
as the
comparison.
big schnoz little brother soon discovers one of the members of Vault 32 is dead and rotting. And it turns out raiders somehow got into Vault 32, killed everyone, and Lucy gets stabbed,
that
but she
scene.
manages to save herself in the most
This is so
cliche
intense,
Hollywood
that
way
scene.
possible by smashing a glass on his head and then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
slicing his face. She heals herself with a stim pack and then heads into the
Oh, when I learned about the stem pad, I'm like, man, I wish that's a real thing in life. Wouldn't that be amazing if that's like a real technology we have? When will we get there?
armory and grabs a fucking trank gun. I guess all the real guns were already gone. And she witnesses
It's good thing that I think like she would be hesitant to use real gun anyway.
a bunch of her friends get horrifically
Mm.
murdered, men just getting the absolute shit beat out of them. The only
That scene was crazy.
competent males at all are the raiders. But her pregnant best friend, after getting stabbed in the eye with a fork, gets a hold of an SMG and starts mowing down raiders.
Once again, I know that he's just covering the episode 1, but like, first of all, if he's gonna critique the show as if it's like a humiliation, I think you should watch all of the show before you make statements like that. But that character is not a normal character. She is. It's understandable how she can be like that if you watch the show, like remaining of the show. She's not. She she went through a lot that she can do something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, I did think that was like insane. She had a fork in her eye and she's able to like fight. But I remember thinking, just being like, yes, like fight. Like just don't die. You have a baby in your belly. I don't know.
Wow. My god, it's Wolfenstein 2 all over again. This is the cringiest shit ever, seeing pregnant women be badass.
Why is strong pregnant woman cringy? Why? Why can't that happen? Why is that cringy? Okay, I've never seen a pregnant character do that. They did it. I think that's cool. I don't think it's cringy. I don't think every character has to be what you expect them to be. I think that's when it's kind of cool.
I fucking hate this propaganda is
Um, is everything a propaganda? Why is it calling everything a propaganda? I don't think there's a propaganda out there for encouraging interracial marriage. I don't think there's a propaganda for encouraging pregnant women to do stuff like that. I think a lot of pregnant women would prefer to be in a situation where they don't have to be like that. I don't think there's a propaganda for this.
So transparent. Whatever, moving on. Lucy's husband turns out to still be alive and almost kills her, but her dad manages to save her, being the only competent male in the show. And Lucy gets to see how brutal he is, which I'm pretty sure is implying that he's been to the surface before. But all of the survivors manage to get captured anyway. We see that the Latina overseer is the real villain of the show. Yes, this middle-aged brown woman is supposed to be this mega badass evil raider we're supposed to be intimidated by. Modern media is such a joke.
What is his problem? Why can't the woman be a villain here? What is wrong with him? He's upset that a brown woman is a strong villain of the show. Is that his complaint? What is the complaint here? Is it that the villain is like or like what is wrong with that? Is that his complaint? Is that it? Does he have any other complaint besides those traits about the villain?
We're not even halfway through the episode and I already don't want to watch anymore, but
does he want all of them to be white male? Is that what he wants? What's wrong with the show? I don't get it.
Fuck it, let's just get through this. Evil raider chick gives the overseer an ultimatum.
Does he? What? Okay, well, moving on.
Either choose his daughter Lucy or choose the rest of the residents of the vault. Obviously, he chooses his daughter, but instead of killing all the others, the raiders just kidnap the dad and then just let the others run away as a bomb timer goes off. Oh, and Raider Bitch reveals that she knows Lucy's mom. Wow, what a mystery. I'm so intrigued. What?
Yes, it all comes back later. It's a big part. It's like a huge part, towards the end when they all like tie it well together at the very end. Yes, they were setting it up. They were setting up the show or the story because it's a good story. I don't get it. Why is that bad?
What the fuck was the point of this scene?
You'll find out later, which I'm sure you did. Is the complaint that there is a mystery that's being set up in the first episode of the show? I don't get it.
Alright, now we get to meet our final main character, Maximus. And it's another pussy-ass black guy. You know, it's one thing that every single TV show, movie, and now video game has a diverse cast. But do you have to have every black man be a fucking pussy in my...
So... Oh, I think I understand. Is it because Lucy's brother is small white guy, but he views him as a coward, and then the cousin's a big white guy, but he is also viewed as a coward, and then he finds this black guy, and he also views him as like a weakling, but then the pregnant woman is shooting gun. And Lucy is supposed to be the main character who's strong. So is that the complaint? That the female characters in his eyes are stronger than the male character? But there were other strong male characters if that's how he like determines strong or weak. I don't get it though. I don't get the complaint here. I don't think the fact that he's black and his male character should be the determining factor of why the show is bad so far. All of his complaints are kind of like surface level. It's like a complaint on the casting for the show. That's pretty much what it has been. And not even touching like how the actors were all really great. So, like really great actors. It's like all about like their skin color, their gender that he's nitpicking on. This is mad weird. This is a weird take.
modern media, you know, as harsh as I was on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, at least Barrett is a cool character, okay? You can sell me on a diverse character if they're cool, if they just act like a person.
Diverse character needs to be sold to him. I feel like also Fallout throughout the show, they don't really hyper focus on like someone's gender that much. It's just that's how the character is, and you just kind of get to know them. They don't like focus on the fact that this is black guy or that's black like white woman or Latina woman. They don't even like focus on that at all. It's not really about race. It's just about a story about like a broken world, and it's almost, yeah, it's like it gets really deep. It's like you see this character going through like living through this broken world, and it breaks you too, and people don't trust each other, but then you also like find them to like they're trying to like protect that part of them, like the golden rule that Lucy holds on to obviously kind of changes along the way, but like you see these characters like trying to do what is right to still like hold on to their humanity in this world. There's just so much besides race and just like if like their sexual organ. I wish it talks more about that than just the how the character looks. What the heck?
But they happen to have a different color of skin. You know, I know this is very stereotypical shit that basically everyone said by now, but it's true.
No, it's not a typical thing that people say by now. It's a weird thing that you're hyper focusing on, sir.
No matter how many times it's said, it's accurate. And yeah, so he gets hazed by all the other Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, and did you see there was like a black person too
It's
in the background?
And yeah.
See, that guy is black.
So he gets
Who's holding him?
hazed by all the...
And that guy is black. It's not...
the other Brotherhood of Steel initiates.
Whatever.
And he gets saved by a trans man. I'm not joking, dude. There's probably going to be some coping and seething, but no, that is not a tomboy. That is not a masculine female. No, that is a woman who identifies as a man. You know it to be true.
Okay, I can see that, but I will say I never thought of it throughout the show. Like, I do remember thinking, like, is that a girl? Question mark? Like, I wasn't sure. I don't know. But the thought just, like, went through my head once. After that, it was just, like, more about who caused the injury. Like, those things were more important. Like, the show doesn't clarify anything. Like, it doesn't say if he is transgender or whatever. Like, that is not the focus. They kind of like just let the characters exist together and have their own story. It wasn't about like gender or anything like that. So what if? Who cares if that is the case for the character or not? The show wasn't about that. It was about, in that case, when that character was existing, like on the screen. My throat is dying. When that character was on the screen, it was like more about friendship. It was about trust. Like, there were so many things that actually like were in topic. They never hyper focused on the fact that a transgender man who's white saved this black man. Like, it wasn't about that. Who cares if he is, but who cares if he's not? What is this review?
And she's more of a man than Maximus is. This is fucking embarrassing.
Why? Why is that embarrassing? Why? I don't know. This review is weird. This review is just like complaining on the gender and the race of the characters in the show. I think that's what it's about. Then the story or anything else really. I can see why this review had, some complaints around it. I can totally understand why that's the case.
Whatever. Anyway, moving
Yeah,
on.
move
I
on.
have to get through this,
You want
guys.
to.
I can't take it anymore. Everything I love has been destroyed.
What do you love, sir? What is your love? What is your love that has been destroyed so far? The fact that you like all white male characters, both for a villain, for a hero, for side characters, you want all, and then if anyone different shows up on the screen, it's propaganda. Is that the love that has been broken so far? What is the love? I'm mad confused. I feel uncomfortable. But we'll keep going.
Let's just fast forward through the rest of this episode.
Okay.
So another Pridwin shows up. Maybe it's the same Pridwin from Fallout 4. I don't know. They don't confirm or deny in this episode. We see some Brotherhood Knights in T60 power
so
armor
cool.
show up. And I don't know, it looks okay. I know some people are like, it looks like shitty cosplay. I think the costumes look okay. It's when there's CGI that it looks bad. In the
I
next
don't know. I thought it looked cool. I had no complaint. And like they're not crazy big or like crazy. I don't know. It just like seems like someone could actually just wear, So made sense to me.
scene, Maximus and the girl boy sneak away.
Just I don't remember the character's name, but like call a character by their name or Maximus and his friend or something. What the heck is that title? A girl boy. Brother, what is wrong with you?
And look at some power armor, and Maximus is a flashback to when he was saved by the Brotherhood of Steel. Then we
I thought
see
that
the
was cool. It kind of shows like why Maximus is here, like why he may be here, what he may be desiring.
Initiates play some brick ball. Look, I know they're trying to be cute about like, oh, post-apocalypse, they don't understand how sports work, but really
Or they don't have the resources. They don't have a ball.
throwing bricks into a fucking square hoop, and we
Okay, like when I remember like kids, like we would play with pebbles and rocks and sand and just stuff on the ground. Like, yeah, I don't think that's mad weird, because there's like bricks or rocks around. You turn it into a toy, you play with it, Why is that so weird?
learn some of the initiates have been chosen to be squires, and of course Maximus doesn't get chosen, but the girl boy does. And so the next morning, as
I'm annoyed. It's like almost like mocking. What is wrong with him?
G.I. Jane puts on her boots, a trap placed inside
that
her
was
boot shreds her
crazy.
leg. And to no surprise, Maximus is blamed for this and taken away to be interrogated.
And I love that because he was so angry when he didn't get chosen, and then that happens, and you'll know later on like what actually happened, but the show doesn't tell you in that moment. It's kind of like how all the other characters doesn't really know what happened, and it give you this like mystery like with that too. It's like, did he do it? Did he not? And I think he, in that, like, during the interrogation, he says, like, he kind of, like, shows, like, he thought about it. And I think, like, even, like, thinking about it, he felt guilty. Like, he felt guilty from thinking about it and it happened. And, like, what he maybe have wished for happened. So even though he didn't do it himself, he felt guilty. And that made him, like, all that nervous, too. And I thought that was also, like, interesting and fair, like the fact that he even thought of such things, like wishing that kind of stuff upon his own friend, is still like very shameful and like feels like he betrayed him. So I thought it was great, like even that aspect of the mystery and like the character building, like it starts there too. It's so good. I don't know what his complaint is.
Back at Vault
What the
33,
heck?
Lucy tries to get the council to send out a search party for her dad, but the fat black soy jack on the council
He really just likes to label people. Like, yes, I see that that's a black dude, but like, he, the way he describes it, where he uses it, it just feels like it's just like slapping labels on the faces without thinking about like, okay, these people, they're sheltered, they're nervous, they're trying to figure out like why does that make him a soy boy?
Is too chicken shit, as is the rest of them. And so Lucy teams up with Big Schnoz and Sweet Home Alabama to leave the vault themselves. Of course, her brother, being a massive pussy, won't go with her. Her cousin actually wants to, but she knows he's incredibly incompetent and also a coward.
I think also the fact that they don't want, or say her brother doesn't want to go, it doesn't make him like a coward, to be honest. I think that's like almost like she is the abnormal one here in a way. Like she was trying to go out of the vault and I'm like, why like I admire her for it. I think that obviously the story wouldn't exist without her bravery and curiosity, but her brother being scared to go is also like it's also another natural human instinct, and also him existing there in the vault does serve a purpose. Like he does stuff there too, he fights in his own way. I really like don't think that this should be taken as a reason why the show should be discouraged from watching or be rated so harshly.
So she tranks him.
He's not even rating it harshly, he's almost like not rating it. That's how it feels, because he's not really touching on the point that actually could make me think like, oh, the show was flawed in that kind of way. So far, all his pointers, I think they're actually not something that could be used against the show. And I guess if he points out some things about maybe like he thinks that it wasn't a good adaptation from the game because certain things didn't line up to be a canon, then I don't really have much to say about that because I haven't played the game to say actually it lines up or not. But so far, all his complaints on the show, they sound stupid, to be honest with you.
And leaves the vault by herself. Now this is where the show jumps the shark.
I thought this was crazy too, that she just like walks out. I'm like, what is her plan? I'm like, Lucy, what is your plan? Why are you just walking out of the vault? Also, I didn't know that like there is a way to open the gate from the outside. I figured she can use her Pip-Boy, but I didn't know what. Yeah, I didn't know all this because I don't know the franchise. But yeah. So I'm like, how? Like I didn't even know how she was gonna get back in. So from that alone, I'm like, what is she thinking? But I think she can.
We find out that Vault 33 is located next to Venice Beach in the heart of the Boneyard. Now, if you know anything about Fallout lore, you would know that the NCR dominated this territory, brought civilization back to it. There is no way in hell that Vault 33 was not contacted over the course of 100 years. And of course, to address the elephant in the room, LA itself is a massive wasteland, like a featureless desert. What happened to the NCR? Well, at the time of me recording this, I was spoiled of future episodes. And apparently, Shady Sands got nuked 4 years before the events of Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, that's how you know the showrunners didn't do the...
Yeah, I don't know like what he's really talking about here. If certain things doesn't line up with the games and the timeline and the location, it's really people shrug for me here.
Research, and yet this show's canon. It's totally canon, guys, that the capital of the NCR got nuked before New Vegas, yet it was never mentioned.
I do want to play the game though. I want to play at least one Fallout game before the second season comes out. I think that'd be really fun.
And it's more than established that the NCR dominated California and brought civilization back. Fuck this show. Fuck Todd Howard. Fuck Amazon. Bethesda is so beyond dead to me, it's insane. Everyone who likes Fallout 4 gets exactly what they fucking deserve with this show.
All I know is he had really bad takes earlier. If this take is bad, I don't know. If it's good, I don't know. You can let me know, but I have no idea.
What blows my mind is there's people who actually thought Starfield was going to be good. And even though the NCR capital was nuked, that doesn't explain how the Boneyard turned into a giant desert wasteland. But it's as simple as the showrunners didn't care. This is not made for the fans. This is made for normies who have heard of Fallout.
For me, it was made for me. But honestly, I don't think that's the case, to be honest, because I've heard a lot of people who love Fallout be very, very happy with the show. And there were a lot of like hidden stuff that are throwbacks and like lines up with like how the game was. So I do think that even if there may have been some flaws, that they still included a lot of aspects of the like into the game, into the show, that longtime fans would really enjoy and be satisfied to see. I do think that they did have the fans. They did have the fans in their mind in some kind of way. I don't think they were totally neglected.
For women who won't even watch the show. And
what did he say? Hold on.
Heard of Fallout. It's made for women who won't even watch the show.
Okay, weird take there. He must be kidding, right? He must be memeing. He must be doing this to get views, maybe. I really want to believe.
And most importantly, it's made as a humiliation ritual. They will destroy everything you love, and you will do nothing about it. At best, you'll vote with your wallet and hope things get better. Yeah.
I really don't know what they destroyed so much right now.
Yeah, that's worked out so great for us in the last decade. But whatever, I'm not gonna Fed post, because I will legitimately get banned. Next scene, we get banned.
Yeah, I think he should kind of sit down a little bit, because I do think if this is him tamed, I don't know, I'm sure his like when he fully unleashes his take, I wouldn't be surprised if they're really bad at this point.
Back to Maximus, and he cries like a little baby bitch as the scribe interrogates him, accusing him of something he didn't do.
Okay, so think about it. His friend just got hurt. Like, they're all there probably to become like the knight, right? To train up to be it. That's their dream. And if someone's injured down like really badly like that, he's probably thinking like, it's gone. It's gone for that person. And he's also scared because he's being interrogated. He didn't do it, but I think he kind of wished for something like that. And so he's like scared and regretful. Like there's like a lot of stuff. And brother, like it is okay for a man to cry. Like it's kind of scary if someone's laughing in that situation. Like it's good to have human emotions. Like men are human too. Like you should also cry when you are sad or scared. Like that's okay. I don't get why that's also bad.
And he makes almost no effort to defend himself. Eventually, he works up the courage to speak and just says he would gladly give his life for the Brotherhood, and the scribe rewards him by promoting him to squire.
Maximus is kind of an odd character sometimes. I think yeah, he does stuff that's kind of like stupid, but he is definitely an interesting character. I think, you know, but like thinking about it, he grew up being bullied all the time, right? And so if he has some kind of built up anger or resentment, I wouldn't be surprised by it. He's also, I feel like he processed that through the show. He actually genuinely begins to care for like other people like Lucy throughout the show. I don't know. He's an interesting character. Like sometimes I feel like I see what he's gonna do, and sometimes I have no idea. Or sometimes he does what I thought he would do, and sometimes he does. So Lucy, I think, is a little more predictable, for sure. But yeah, I thought it was a good character. It was like sometimes really annoying, but sometimes characters that are annoying are also great. Even Maximus, you see him grow, like you see him forgive and then regret and all these different things, you know? He forgives, he trusts, he gets betrayed, but then he learns to trust again. Like characters go through so much in this show.
Taking the She-Man's place.
Oh
Then
my
we get a
gosh,
scene
what's
where
wrong with him? So annoying.
the She-Man doesn't blame him because she knows he would never do it because, again, he's a little bitch boy who would never do anything wrong.
I don't think that's why the friend thought Maximus wouldn't do it. It's just showing, like, I trust you. Like, it's just a moment of, like, well, obviously, I think the friend knows what happened, but we don't know that at that moment. So, at least in that moment, for between the two of them, it's just confirming, like, nah, like, I trust you, you know? And like other people are skeptical of him, but he can leave knowing that at least the one person who he actually cares about isn't mad at him or doubting him.
What a great protagonist. And at his anointment ceremony, he gets a brand burned on the back of his neck by Power Armor, which is kind of cool, I guess. And now we get another massive retcon. Apparently, the Enclave is still around. Yup, even though we see the last of their remnants in New Vegas, which are a bunch of fucking senile boomers. 15 years later, the Enclave is back with a vengeance. Maximus is tasked with finding one of their runaways who I guess is hanging with dog meat. And for the final scene of the episode, we wrap back around to Walton Goggins as we see a few mercenaries dig up his corpse. Oh god, here we go again. Pete Hines has been vindicated. For those of you who don't know, there is a unmarked quest in Fallout 4
Wait,
where
isn't that how Maximus was able to survive?
you
In
find
the fridge.
a ghoul child who's been locked in like a fridge or something. I can't even really remember. The child has been in there for 200 years with no food or water, and you reunite him with his parents who are also ghouls. It's quite possibly the dumbest quest in any RPG of all time, and rightfully, fans pointed out how stupid it was, how it's been established in the original games that ghouls do eat and drink, and I believe even in Fallout 3, they have to eat and drink. But no, now ghouls are just immortal zombies. And Pete Hines, being a massive silly Billy on Twitter, pointed out how nerds are all losers for caring about continuity. You're right, why should I care about anything that happens in the story? I should just consume your product, you piece of shit. But now, over 8 years later, Bethesda still has a chip on their shoulder about that one, and has confirmed in this show that ghouls can be buried underground in a coffin for who knows how long, and be perfectly fine. And for seemingly no reason at all, Walton Goggins kills the 3 mercenaries. They weren't even hostile, they were...
So, if the fridge boy, like little boy ghoul in the fridge was a quest in the game, wouldn't that line up with this guy in the show? Or is it because he wanted that part in the game to be not acknowledged? Is that why? I guess I don't really know the limitations of ghouls very much, but I'm kind of confused there. Yeah.
offering to share a bounty with him, and he kills them. This show is fucking stupid.
Because
Okay,
he doesn't wanna be in a team, I think. But
that was episode
that was a lot too, yeah.
1. It sucked dick. It ruined everything. Fallout's dead again. Honestly, Fallout's been dead to me since Fallout 4 released, and to even more fans after 76. So while yes, I did get kind of angry over certain things in this show, sometimes I ham things up for the reviews. I honestly don't care that much. I'm just tired of propaganda being shoved in my face more than anything.
If that's the case, if the propaganda was the biggest thing that made him dislike the show more than like few things that he thought didn't line up there, I really think that his propaganda complaint can just be scratched up because there really isn't a propaganda about race or gender. The show doesn't even touch about that. It's more about like humanity and like other things that are deeper than the surface level of a human like that. Um, no, sir.
And yeah, I mean, this
No.
show's woke as fuck. It's diverse as hell. It's an obvious female empowerment story.
It's not really. It's not woke as in like yes there's like diverse character, but like it doesn't focus on it. That's not the point. It's not like trying to shove diversity's importance to you. It shows diversity as it may exist in the world and just carries the story. That's not the focus. There is a story that's actually the focus, and they're like it's really good.
That's really the most annoying thing of all. Lucy is an obvious Mary Sue.
And Lucy is also very flawed in different ways, and she would not have made through like the till the end without other characters helping her. There's a time when she literally is like passed out. She's been saved many times. She isn't like a supernatural. Like I think maybe like there were some times when I thought that she like I don't know how she survived, especially when she got put into like the building to like get her organs basically taken from her. Like I thought it was over for her. So the way that she survived that was crazy. Like the fighting the robot. Once again, I get really like into things that I'm consuming, like whether it's show or game. So I'm thinking like I don't know how I would have survived. I think I would have died. But she made it like out of that situation. That was kind of insane. But even then, it's not because she was like, fighting. Like she doesn't like take on all the enemies or anyone really in that building herself. They kind of fight each other. So she doesn't do like she's not like a superwoman who is like absolutely unbelievable to exist. And yes, she's a strong character, but so are all these other characters. Maximus is strong in his own way. Ghoul is strong in his own way. Like her brother is also strong in his own way, and it shows all these different ways that people can grow and like become stronger and show bravery, and how also like they can be cowards in different ways too. I don't know.
All of the men around her are incredibly pathetic and weak. The
No,
trans male character was more of a man than Maximus, one of our
they're
main
both.
characters. You would think black people would make more of a stir about this, but as you saw with my Spider-Man 2 review,
It'd be weird. It'd be weird if it's about race. What then? What do you think that Asian people will stand up because there weren't enough Asian characters in the show? Like, brother. What is wrong with you? Just watch the show and try to understand the story and the character. If the acting was bad, if that's the complaint, that's more understandable. If the story was like boring, if the story was boring, I think that would have been more of a better take than this, to be honest.
no, they totally love Miles Morales, who's fucking Urkel incarnate. So I guess we're going to continue to see these characters in the future until
Yay.
showrunners and game developers start getting called racist for this pathetic beta male stereotype. And yeah, I don't think I need to bring up again how heavily they've shit on the Fallout lore already in the first episode. I'm really not looking forward to watching the rest of this. I just know when they show the huge crater where Shady Sands used to be, it's just gonna be a giant middle finger to all the fans. And I've heard Mr. House also shows up in this show. And to spoil a plot point from later in the show, they confirm that Vault-Tec fired the first nuke, which completely ruins the main theme of Fallout. These fucking
Right.
far leftists don't even listen to the opening monologue or the ending one. War never changes. That's what the fucking series is about, but you stupid fucks are so obsessed with
Wait, the war never changes? I mean, I didn't play the game, so I don't know what that messes up.
capitalism. You think it's about corporation bad. That's what Fallout's really about. The games literally tell you what the theme is word for word. Now that it's not America or China's,
it?
what
What
the
is the
theme
word
is
for word?
word for Fallout's really obsessed with capitalism. It's what the fucking series is about, but you stupid fucks are so obsessed with capitalism, you think it's about corporation bad. That's what Fallout's really about. The games literally tell you what the theme is word for word. Now that it's not America or China's fault that the world ended, the entire message of the series is ruined. I guess the silver lining of all.
Even if Voltac did it, like it still is about. I guess it does make capitalism bad, but it also makes war look bad too.
All this is
Okay.
there's only a few gaming franchises I still even care about anymore, and it's only a matter of time till those are destroyed too. And then I can truly be apathetic about the entire gaming industry. So yeah,
Dang.
as if I even had to tell you.
It's a little. Maybe it's just a little sad guy. Maybe he's a little sad dramatic guy, but also really with really bad takes on like genders and race of characters.
You don't watch this
Who's scared of propaganda.
show. I mean, if you like this show on any level, I've lost any and all respect for you. In fact, I don't think I even view you as human anymore. If you
Yeah, this can't be a real review. I think he's trying to get views, maybe. This is such a stupid sentence. If you like the show in any kind of way, I don't respect you as a human being. I don't view you as human. Are you kidding? Okay. I don't even know like if that's worth reacting to.
you like this show, yeah, I'll go that far. You can
Yeah.
quote me on that shit. So please, for the love of God,
Okay.
do not hate watch this show. That's about it. See you next time, guys.
Okay. Wow, that's an
The much-
interesting. That was an interesting take, as in like a bad take all around. The takes that he had, which I understand because it wasn't related to the game directly. I can say that they were bad, and I disagree with them. And the takes that he had regarding the game and the show and how it may not line up, those things I don't have anything to say really because I haven't played the game to know. So overall, I'll take the show is great. And there isn't really, I can't think of actual propaganda that people have to be concerned about. Yeah, and that's it. I'm gonna stop. I don't know how to end this one. That was a weird one. That was a weird one.